what is an energy vampire? Like we said before, it's kind of a dramatic term, but an energy vampire is someone who feeds on you. They have their tentacles into you. They have their energy hooks and claws into you. They're stealing your energy. And as we said before, they're not necessarily doing it consciously. That's just the way that they have learned to cope or survive or to get their boost or whatever. Just like, you have to eat food to sustain your physical body. People have to have energy to sustain their consciousness here on Earth. And oftentimes they go to others to steal that energy. They can show up as in a variety of different ways. They can show up as the people that you consider nearest and dearest to you in your life, people that you work with, and entities that aren't even in physical form. Now, let's talk about who they might be. And again, caution here, it's not about blaming anyone. It's taking a look at the relationships in your life, what you're actually attracting into you. Oftentimes, it's a spouse or partner. Oftentimes, it's because you came into a relationship because you might have felt incomplete yourself. So you're partnering or you're married to someone, and they love you and they don't intend to do it, but a lot of times they're really feeding on you. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Your kids. Yeah, I know you love your kids. Well, yes, you love your kids, and they might drive you crazy at times, but kids, your children have a way of also feeding on you, and because of the love you have in your heart for them, you actually allow it. Like, I know a lot of you listening in tonight think, well, I have a lot extra, so I'll let people take from me. Children do that a lot. Parents are another one. Parents tend to actually start feeding on their children, particularly as they get older. I know a lot of people who have had parents that were really more like the children in the relationship, and literally are still feeding on the children, putting a lot of responsibility or burden on them, a lot of guilt and other things. So parents oftentimes have a way of feeding on you as well. Energy feeding happens a lot of times in what you would consider close friends. Particularly the friends that like to dump on you, like to tell you about all their problems, all their woes. Have you ever considered, do they ask you how you're feeling? Do they have solutions to their own problems, or are they just trying to dump the problems on you? Do they actually look you in the eye when they're talking? Are they even aware that you're there? Because so often there's people who are doing this feeding that it doesn't matter who it is, sorry to say. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just they need somebody to dump on, and, well, you've been letting them do that. The office workplace is a tremendous place for feeding. I mean, you have all the dynamics of the business world. You have all the people that you're working with and the games. I had a boss at one time was a big energy feeder, now that I stand back and realize it. And the way he did it was through intimidation. He loved to intimidate people in the company, and that kind of put them at a disadvantage and allowed him to do his feeding and made him think how great he was. He was the CEO of the company, but it was really just a lot of energy feeding. Generally, anytime somebody's feeding on you, you're feeding on someone else. Now, it may not be them. You may be displacing that and putting it in other people, like your friends or other people in your life. But there's almost a one-to-one relationship. If you're a victim, at some level, you're also the abuser. You're going out trying to get that energy to because you're tired, you're worn out, you're dragged down. And I'm not saying every problem in life is caused by this, but we've noticed over the 10 years and traveling around the world doing workshops, this is one of the biggest issues, energy feeding. You are being fed on. Sometimes it's not in such grand and noticeable ways. Sometimes it's very subtle. A family member who continues to cause you grief in your life. You continue to feel drained because of a child or a partner or a spouse. They're feeding on you. They're literally taking your energy with their problems. They're doing it, and they're playing on your sympathies. Say, I have all these problems in my life, and you have to help me because you're my parent or you're my spouse or whatever. The virus is working through them on you and stealing your energy. And it works in your brain because you say, that's what I'm here to do, help everyone. Oh, no, you're just being fed on. It has nothing to do with helping them. You're actually enabling them to continue being a breeding source for the virus. This may sound cold, even cruel, but we're being very direct about what's happening here. You ever have a friend or an acquaintance come up to you, grab you by the arm, hold you, and start talking and never end talking, dumping their problems? You notice they generally have to hold on to you, or if you turn away for a moment, they smack your arm, get your attention back. They have to. That's how the feeding is done. They don't really care if it's you or anyone else. There's nothing special about you other than you're just a tasty sandwich for them. They will start dumping their problems. They will start talking about anything. You generally see their eyes go a bit blank and vacant. They're feeding. They're really not talking to you. They're just feeding. They're putting their invisible feeding tube right into you and drawing out. And then when they walk away, you feel exhausted. You feel depleted. Well, certainly they've just had a transfusion off of you. There are those who you work with that are doing it constantly, whether they are your bosses or whether they work for you. But they're always presenting you with all of these odd challenges. They never want to find solutions to problems. They just like to dump problems. It's not because you're a master problem solver that they're coming to you. You're a meatloaf. You're a giant hamburger. So they will come in every day with new problems and new concerns, dumping them on you, on your desk, and they're just feeding. If they truly had a balance and they didn't need to feed, they would be coming in to discuss a solution with you. They would be coming in to discuss a new way to make things work out better. So how do you prevent this energy feeding from taking place?